Hi students, this is Mustafa Mirchawala from Mirchawala's Hub of Accountancy, your SBR trainer. I am here to give you some last few tips for your SBR upcoming examination. First of all, keep one thing in mind. For SBR paper, breadth is important than depth. What do you mean? Means try to cover complete course with some extent, with some expertise, instead of doing few areas in great depth. For example, some students give extreme time on financial instrument. They pick up their favorite consolidation and they give extreme time. But when it comes to when they go to examination room, they find that financial instrument is only coming for 5 marks, or sometime in recent past papers you can see there is no financial instrument at all. So what do you mean? It means you should have a complete grip on all exam, because you have seen in SBR paper, in one single question, one single part, you may find 4 IS together. Giving you one example. For example, you have a question of sale. So first of all, the examiner may discuss some issues related to inventory, IS2. Then for sale, IFRS 15. And if sometimes with sale, there are some sale or return basis or sale or repurchase agreement, they may touch in substance lease IFRS 16. And sometimes they give, in the same question, they give some area of year end, some events after the year end. So IS 10 events after the reporting period. So 4 IS in one question. Yes, this is SBR. So it's better you have complete overall knowledge and you apply it. Second tip, second thing is that you should, headroom is always there. Headroom is always there. What do you mean by headroom? For example, there are two interpretations of this headroom issue. First, for example, there is a 10-mark question. So when this question will go to the marker, so marker will start as checking this question, assuming it's a 14-mark question. So for example, if you have done 4 marks mistake, so still you will get complete 10 marks. This is the first interpretation of headroom. The second interpretation of headroom is multiple solutions are acceptable. What do you mean? For example, there are 2 students and they have given 2 different solutions of same question, still they will both get marks. So I say one very super statement here, and this statement is said by many SBR trainers, that in SBR paper, if you are right, you are right, and if you are wrong, still you may be right if you have logic, if you like the reason, if you write the reason. Okay. Now the third tip, your objective is to clear the paper. 50 marks is your objective. So it's better to pick the hanging fruit first, the easy marks first. So what strategy I give to my student is, in first 50 marks, it's comparatively easier. First 50 marks is always easier. You should pick at least 35 or 33 from first 50, and then the remaining last 50, you should pick 17 or 18 marks. It's pass. So that's the objective. That's the objective. Next thing is practicing mock exam, the real life situation. I give example of cricket. When in my country, Pakistan, when somebody wants to join international cricket, they don't directly join international cricket. What they do, first they play on streets, then local matches, then under 19 matches, then first class matches, then they go for PSL leagues, and then finally they opt for the international cricket. So same is the case here. We teachers first teach students in the class, we just teach one paragraph or small knowledge. Then students go home, with respect to time, they start solving one single complete question, and then finally in the ending days they have to solve complete mock exam in the real situation, right? So this is the same pattern which they have to follow. Next thing, current issue. Students think that current issue is only about exposure drafts or new accounting standard which are recently launched. Yes, they are partially correct. But nowadays, if you have seen the latest past papers, current issue is about environmental reporting. Current issue is sometime about the existing standards, the weakness of existing standard, the criticism on existing standard. Giving you one example, you all have heard about IS 38, intangible assets. You know, this IS 38 came in this world. ISB launched this standard 23 years ago, when there was no Uber, when there was no Amazon, when there was no YouTube. So there were no such digital assets. So now in this real age, we have digital assets. So I think the IS 38 is a little bit obsolete in this world. Giving you practical example, listen. For example, you have picked a financial statement, and in that financial statement, it's loss, plus the assets are very low and total equity is also very low. But if when you see the share price of that stock, it's rocket high, it's going up. Why? The reason, because according to IS 38, we don't record, we don't capitalize internally generated goodwill, but still that internally generated goodwill, that setup is still giving benefit to that company, but it's not in the financial statement. That's why the shareholders value it and it is reflected in the share price. So this is some sort of weakness, and this may come in your exam. Now, last thing is the time management, which is very, very important. For example, there is a student, he's very expert, but he can complete paper in 6 hours. So I would recommend him or her to stay at home. No need to give the paper. So first of all, I would say 1.8 minutes per mark, strictly follow it. For example, 10 marks question, so 18 minutes you have, right? And then better to jump on the next question. One more super advice in the end I want to give, that for example, there are you have 4 questions in your SBR paper, and in each and every question there are some easy marks and some difficult marks. So what you should do, first you should pick easy marks of each and every question, like question number 1, easy marks, and then leave the space. Then go to question number 2, there is a navigator there. Pick easy marks of question number 2, then 3, pick easy marks 4, and in the end give time to difficult marks. People say there is no choice in SBR paper. I say yes, there is a choice. The choice between easy and difficult. First go for easy marks, because you just need 50 marks. You're not getting. Giving you one practical example, that how to get easy marks. Easy marks are quick marks. Have you ever squeezed lemon or oranges? When you squeeze it for the first 2-3 times, it gives the most juice. But when you keep try of one orange which has already been squeezed, then you get few drops. So whenever you solve a question, the easy marks are easy to grab, the starting marks are very easy to grab, and if you give more time to that question, it won't give you that much fruit. Better to shift on the another question. Now the last tip which is very contingent and examination based tip. For example, you are in the examination and you are on the second last question, and now only last 10 minutes are left. So what you should do, should you still leave this second last question? You have just in the middle of the second last question. Should you shift yourself to the last question in last 10 minutes, or you should complete this second last question? The answer is, listen, if the last question is knowledge based, you should go and pick some easy marks. But if the last question is a case study, don't go for it, because in the case study you have to read it, and that reading time will consume everything and you won't be able to write anything. So it's better to complete second last question. I hope you like the tips. Thanks a lot.